Kabaka Walugembe Mutesa I was the first king of Buganda to meet Europeans. He met John Hannington Speke in 1862. Then his palace was at Banda. And he subsequently met many other Europeans. He shifted, by the time he established his palace at Kasubi, he had another palace at Irubaga, at the very spot where the Catholic Cathedral in Kampala is located. So in 1874, he had a second palace in Kasubi. The place was originally called Nabulagala. But because Kabaka Mutesa I had grown up in a county called Chagwe, in a place called Kasubi, he added Kasubi to the name of the new palace which he established in 1974. And the works for establishing the palace were spearheaded by my predecessor, Katikiro Mukasa of the Musu clan. Musu is the edible rat. And when Kabaka Mutesa I passed away in 1884, he was buried in the main house. The tombs were not established as tombs. That major house called Muzibwazala Mpango, or the mausoleum, was his major house. It was the courthouse actually. That's where he met visitors, important visitors. That's where he held court with his officials. Because the palace was sitting on an expansive ground of many acres. They tell us that the perimeter of the palace extended all the way to the main gate of the current Makerere University, and extended all the way to the hill leading to Namirembe Anglican Cathedral. It was an expansive area, and there were many houses within the palace grounds. Now, Muzibwazala Mpanga was the courthouse where the king held sessions with visitors, matters of state. And when he passed away, that's where he was buried. But that was the norm in Buganda. When kings passed away, they were buried inside their houses, their court houses. Kasubi tombs are very significant to the heritage of the Kingdom of Buganda because they express our civilization. The house, when it was constructed, was supposed to represent the 52 then clans of Buganda. And the clan system is pivotal to the heritage of Buganda because every Buganda belongs to a given clan. And the methods used to construct any palace of a Kabaka, or even now the tombs, is premised on the roles of different clans within the kingdom. But the architecture itself speaks volumes about the civilization of the people at that point in time. So they're very significant to the heritage of the Kingdom of Buganda. Of course, subsequently, 3 other kings have been interred within Muzibwazala Mpanga. Kabaka Mwanga II, the successor to Kabaka Mutesa I, Kabaka Chwa II, the successor to Kabaka Mwanga II, and Kabaka Mutesa II, the successor to Kabaka Daudi Chwa II. That makes them even more significant. But they are also significant to the country Uganda. You see, I think that the father of the nation called Uganda is Kabaka Mutesa I. I say that because he is the one who invited the teachers to come and impart knowledge in 1875 in a letter he gave to Henry Morton Stanley, which was published in the Daily Telegraph in London, following which missionaries came. And of course, as all historians know, the flag always followed the cross. So we started with missionaries, then we ended up with the colonialists themselves. It's little wonder that Uganda became a British colony, because the first missionaries were coming from Britain. So the founding of Uganda actually is largely premised on the letter of April 1875 by Kabaka Mutesa to Queen Victoria. That's why I think he's the founding father of Uganda. And of course, after his death, his son, Kabaka Mwanga II, signed the first protectorate agreement with the British in 1894. So it is highly doubtable that if Mutesa hadn't invited the missionaries, and if Mwanga hadn't, signed the protectorate agreement in 1894, we would see Uganda as we see it today. So when you talk about the collective heritage of Uganda, the country, independent in 1962, you cannot divorce it from the heritage of Kasubi Tombs. In any case, Mutesa I died on the 9th of October, 1884, and that's why that was picked as the Independence Day for Uganda. And of course, the first president of Uganda was Mutesa II, his great-grandson. Long story there, but that just goes to show how significant the tombs are to the kingdom of Uganda and to the country Uganda. But also the name Uganda. When the Arabs came, because the whites, the Europeans who were coming into the interland, coming to meet the different kings of Buganda, they were accompanied by the Swahilis. And the Swahilis and Arabs had a problem with the syllable bu, bu. So they would say Uganda instead of Buganda. It's very difficult even for Arabs even today, if you spoke to Arabs. So they would write Uganda, which was pronounced Uganda. And the first agreements actually were with the king of Uganda without a B, although they meant the king of Buganda. Eventually that became the name of the country. So I think the history of Uganda is intertwined with the heritage of the kingdom of Buganda. That's why the tombs at Kasubi are of great significance to the people of Buganda, and they have great significance to the people of Uganda, Ugandans as we call ourselves.